Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to a live chat, creating a lasting social impact through technology. My name is Emily Chasson. I'm the program manager with Venture to Impact and today's moderator. V2I is a charity based in Eastern Canada, and we leverage human-centered design and design thinking to approach complex challenges while working with global communities to increase digital resiliency, advance gender equity, education, economic opportunity, and well-being for all. Joining me today is Alvin, Martin, and Samuel from Child Fund Uganda, and Moses from Partners for Children Worldwide. In August, we joined forces to develop a pioneering data collection management solution. And I'm delighted to be bringing everyone back together today under the umbrella of International Development Week to discuss how we collectively created a lasting social impact through technology. Before I turn it over to our incredible panelists, a quick note on International Development Week. This week is an opportunity to draw attention to international development and shine a spotlight on unique and impactful partnerships around the world. IDW is held annually during the first full week of February, and this year we are working together under the unifying theme of Go for the Goals. Through this lens, and during today's conversation, you will hear some of the following: the genesis for this collaboration, the impact that COVID-19 has had on Child Fund Uganda, as well as the solution that we worked on together, our unique design approach that we took to addressing the challenge, the impact to date, and what's coming up next for the organization. One quick note, just related to housekeeping. If you have any questions or comments, please add them to the chat. My colleague Brianna will be monitoring the chat, and we will do our best to address your questions towards the end of the conversation. Great, I think that's all. Let's get started. I'd love to bring in Martin. Good morning, good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, good morning, Emily.
Thank you for joining us. To begin, Martin, and just to let folks let them know a little bit more about your organization and the great work that Child Fund is doing. Can you tell us a bit more about Child Fund International and Child Fund Uganda?
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Child Fund International is a child-focused international development organization that works throughout Africa, Asia, and the Americas to connect children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and safe, no matter where they are. Currently, Child Fund International reaches 13.6 million children and their families in 24 countries. Although our 2030 global strategy aspires to reach 100 million children annually. In Uganda, Child Fund works through 9 local partners spread across 36 districts covering 48 communities. And we've been in Uganda for 40 years, and we receive funds through both grants and sponsorship, and we currently serve 30,000 households or families with 30,000 children enrolled in our sponsorship program. Key program areas include community health and nutrition, early childhood education, basic education, youth development, child protection, advocacy, youth development, household economic strengthening, food security, WASH, disaster risk reduction, and then emergency response. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Martin. 30,000 children across Uganda. That's incredible, and families. Amazing. Thank you so much. So to let folks know, how did we come to be here together today and working on this great initiative? Martin, could you share a little bit about how this partnership started? As we know, International Development Week is about achieving the goals together. How do you see partnerships like ours and based in technology help the world make progress towards the SDGs?
Thank you again, Emily. We are here as part of the International Development Week commemoration, and I would like to give the background to our partnership with Venture to Impact. It all started in October 2020 when there was an opportunity with Venture to Impact to have NGOs, international NGOs, participate in a mentorship program that was focusing on impact branding in the face of crisis because Corona had struck in and there was a new reality. So Venture to Impact gave us the opportunity to participate, and I did represent Uganda country office, and we had a very good experience exploring new ways of doing our work in a rather changed environment of COVID-19. And we looked at, in that mentorship, we looked at topics like value proposition, brand and positioning for donors, fundraising through storytelling, fundraising in times of crisis, and of course, understanding donor expectations. This quite sharpened our capacity in going for opportunities, looking at the opportunities that came with the challenge of coronavirus. And at the end of that mentorship, there was a question to the mentees. And the question was, what technology-related challenge could you be having in your work? And what quickly rang in my mind was this big elephant of data collection and analysis for real-time decision making. Because I talked about the 30,000 households we are engaged with in our program, in the sponsorship program, there's a lot of data to be collected, to be analyzed, to inform decision making. And we realized that the paper-based process was rather cumbersome, time-consuming, and with limited ability to make timely decisions. So I fronted this, and Venture to Impact indicated to us that they could link us to a team of experts through an event called Hackathon, where we explore the options available to come up with a solution. So from then we started working through this challenge. We went into a co-creation of the problem statement, which eventually we determined to be a lack of real-time case management data, which was limiting Child Fund Uganda and our partners in limiting our ability to be aware of and act on information to advise our management to support beneficiaries and adjust programming in a timely, sensitive manner. So we worked through the problem statement and then went into setting goals. We came into a project to design this digital case management system. So we had goals for this project, and one of them was to create a real-time data management system and process for Child Fund Uganda. We also had a goal to increase data collection and analysis efficiency and effectiveness, and then increasing evidence-based decision making, of course, while taking care of the time sensitivity. Then increase Child Fund Uganda's programming responsiveness and ability to improve the well-being of children in Uganda. And the beauty of this was that we're working virtually because the circumstances then could not warrant us to engage physically. So it was quite a good experience. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Martin. I'm so glad that mentorship opportunity happened in 2020, and fast forwarding now to where we are. And as you mentioned, the hackathon and the pilot that we just wrapped up. Before we learn a little bit more about the pilot and the impact, I'd love to bring Alvin into the conversation. Good afternoon, Alvin.
Good afternoon, Emily. Good morning, depending on the time zone. Hello.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Would love to just learn a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of the challenge that Child Fund was facing. Can you paint a little bit more of a picture in terms of what that looked like? And what was the impact with COVID-19 on the organization and the individuals that you support through your programming?
Thank you so much. Like Martin said, initially our biggest challenge has been inability to provide real-time response to issues that are coming through the monitoring of our children. We discover since we are relying more on the manual processes, by the time the team finishes capturing data for about 30,000 enrolled children, then you get into the process of punching that information into Excel, and then analyze the report. So we would lose out on time. So by the time the information gets to us as country office to be able to find out which children had issues, case managements that we need to respond, we've already lost out, and the circumstances have changed even for some of the children who had issues. So we discover that sometimes by the time we would come in to jump in to respond, already the situation has changed, and some of the actions that would have picked are no longer relevant. So that pushed us to rethink how can we have a system that is able to give us real time, so that when we pick information, we are able to provide immediate action to issues that are coming out of the monitoring. But two, we also had an issue. The current system that we were also relying on, incidentally, only gave us data, would allow us to collect data once a year. And by the time you finish collecting that data, their situations have changed regarding children, and sometimes you'd not be able to make a meaningful decision, because the time you're picking data, perhaps the child may be fine, but these other times when you're not having the data with you, the child may be having issues. So we felt, since we are relying more on the manual system on quarterly basis to capture data, we felt we needed to have a real-time system that is able to give us quarterly data, real-time data, so that at the end of the day, as a country office, as we are doing an analysis and also agreeing on better programs, we would have at least a trend analysis of what has been happening with our enrolled children. So that kind of pushed us to rethink and think of a system that could help us address. And incidentally, how it impacted us during COVID, you realize that with the restricted movements, it became difficult to be able to reach out to children, especially if you're relying more on manual systems for capturing data. But with a real-time system, it would enable it would factor into the issues of SOPs, but it also it would enable us to be able to connect with children and pick the data and be able to continue with our normal programming without having to disrupt and wait until the situation got back to normal.
Fantastic. Wow. What an interesting, challenge and opportunity to work on. Thank you so much, Alvin, for painting that picture for us and for folks tuning in. Samuel, is Samuel there? I'd love to bring Samuel into the conversation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'd love to just hear, I'd love, and I'm sure the folks tuning in would love to hear as well, why was this challenge, in addition to what Alvin has shared, so important, and what's sort of maybe happening in terms of the broader vision or within the organization more globally speaking, as to why, this was so important?
Yeah. Just as my colleagues have said, data collection before we piloted what we are doing it was paperwork. And so what we used to do is to design a form with a few variables that we can collect, and then we would go give to the data collectors. They go and collect. And imagine printing the forms of 30,000 children. That is huge. Those are many papers. So we would print, give out, go, and then they go to each household, fill the forms, and then they come back, they get those variables into maybe simple Excel and type in. Then afterwards, try to analyze, and then Then afterwards, you would file those forms or that tool to the file, meaning every quarter you are filing. I don't know how big that file can be. Could be big. So that was the whole thing. And also the time for data collection was just too much. It took take long. So it was important for us to move in a digital world, to move digitally, just to help us. And one of the reasons why we moved this step is to improve data collection and analysis and reporting. That time, that processes. So right now, you just enter through an app and then you download, you analyze. It's quicker, and then also it costs. The costs involved in doing all this. So printing all these forms and now there are no costs for that. It's also it reduces time. Uh, the time is now. Also, data quality. I looked at it as when you get real-time data accurate. There's no need of, again, entering into another system after collection. This one is real-time and accurate, and that data is dependable. You can use it for programming. As Martin said, evidence-based programming or decision-making, informed decision. You make quick decisions and manage cases quickly than waiting for a year. And so even it has increased child participation.
Wow.
Now children can participate easily and oftenly than waiting for a year. So this has really, it's moving us we are moving to that direction. And another thing that I've seen is capacity building of staff. Now with the Kobo Collect app, we can be able to see how it analyzes, and the staff build capacity of how to use these apps. And since we are moving that direction, even at volunteer level down there, people are able to use Kobo Collect, which is really motivating. It's motivating staff, it's motivating children. They come quickly to participate. And so this is the way to go. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Samuel, for that overview and an initial preview into the impact that's taken place. Thank you so much. I'd love to bring. Yes, thank you, Samuel. I'd love to bring Martin back in to tell us a little bit more about what you found was unique with the partnership with V2I, the way in which we worked together in solving this challenge, and what did you feel was unique, Martin?
Oh yeah, thank you, Emily. I think first of all, the timing was unique. This was a time when the world was facing lockdown, and we had to work in the new environment. So what I found unique was that despite the fact that we were in different locations, in different circumstances, we really managed to pull it off. And I think the binding factor here was that both of us had a human-centered issue at heart. We wanted to contribute to the social impact program improvement. And on the one hand, Venture 2 Impact had the team of experts, and on the other hand, Child Fund Uganda had this challenge it was having to do with data collection, data analysis. So I thought that the fact that we had to make good use of the opportunity, turning the rather big challenge of COVID to an opportunity to improve the work we are doing, and of course improve the entire international development discourse was a unique one. The other one was that the design thinking was empowering by its nature, because it was not like Child Fund has a challenge, Child Fund Uganda has a challenge on the one part, and on the other part, Venture 2 has a off-the-shelf solution. It was not a case like that. It was a case of co-creating, understanding the issue, and diagonizing it further and determining what the solution could be. And it was interesting that this was happening virtually, and it lasted several months. And at the end of the day, we are now here piloting our digital tool for case management. Yeah. So the whole innovation around working with a team of volunteer experts, co-creating the problem, agreeing on the roadmap, and of course, designing the tool together, building on what we have, of course, with keeping in mind that we do not have to duplicate, because as an agency, Child Fund has other platforms. There are a lot of digital innovations that are taking place in the organization. So we were trying to make sure we don't duplicate our efforts. Rather, we make something that can fit within the mainstream initiatives that are ongoing. So I think, yeah, having to work virtually, the empowering design and the human-centered design was really key in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin. And I think you spoke to so many key things there. And I think one of them really is that co-creation piece, right? And the expertise that Child Fund Uganda brought through your incredible and amazing team who's so dedicated to the work that you're doing. So thank you for the opportunity to work on this problem together. I'd love to bring Moses in. Good afternoon, Moses.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hello,
Wonderful. Fantastic. Yeah, it's always such a pleasure to connect with the Child Fund Uganda team and the Partners for Children Worldwide. So really enjoying the conversation so far.
Thank you.
Yes, Moses, we would love to just learn a little bit more about what has the specific impact been to date so far through this new innovation, through some new perhaps processes and the way in which that you're working with the individuals that you support.
Okay, thank you so much. As Partners for Children Worldwide, first of all, Partners for Children Worldwide is implementing partner for Child Fund Uganda, and we're in the northeast Uganda. We are glad to be piloting this digital platform. I just wanted to bring a few things that we are seeing already working around. We used to have community volunteers collect data on hard copies. You'll find that a person will fill maybe around 3 to 4 copies in a day and spending around 1 hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the location and the distance the person has to cover. And that is changing. Looking at what we've already seen, you find that now a person can handle 5 to 6 forms or children visited in a family, or even more, depending on how congested or how near are other children. So it can even go beyond 6. In terms of hours, the people who followed, you find that they are around spending 20 to 30 minutes in average to handle such, as compared to 1 hour and 20 minutes or 10 minutes. So that is really what is changing. Looking at, we're doing this in 3 communities. We piloted it in the 3 communities that we've been working. When we project for all the children that Partners for Children Worldwide is handling, that is the 3,418. Wow. Initially would take around 60 days when they are not all are covered. But now with the projection, when we roll over to all, one spending only 24 days to cover all the children. That is in this projection, looking at the data that is coming on. So that is amazing. What we see as something very amazing. Then on a management lens, we look at that the digital data collection is helping us identify children who have not been visited in the quarter. So that a community volunteer and a community staff directly follows up those who have not been visited. in relation to that, we have a mandate with the Child Fund that every household, every child must participate in the programs at least 3 times in a year. So this application is now helping us track which households are not taking part in the program activities, so that you find that it is helping giving information. You had the previous speaker say that real-time decisions. This is how it is on in the field, that you find that child X 1, 2, 3 have not participated. So you have a deliberate action to plan for a child or that family to participate in the life stage appropriate activities for that particular household, for that particular child. So those are a few things that are coming through. Then also through management, we're also seeing that this digitalization of data collection is helping us to zero on to some community volunteers who would maybe armchair some information using the hard copies. Now this is reducing because you can get information per community volunteer who is collecting the data. Then you compare, okay, this month you only collected data for 6 children. This month you collected. So you'll find that the remuneration is informed as per the number of people or household the person has visited. So this is working, making people wake up and thus increasing the number of children reached along the way, which is for us, it's very good, and it is helping the organization improve on its programming. Above all, it's also helping to authenticate the presence of the child in the presence of the child and the family, rather than to cast doubt of ghosty children in program, ghost numbers, not PSW to carry all the 3,400 plus children, and yet we have ghost numbers. So now this system, when you take a photograph, it is automatically giving that this child is existing. So those are a few things that we really identified through this exercise that we feel is very good towards improvement and the development process in the world. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Moses. And thank you. I know Partners for Children Worldwide is a very important implementing partner to Child Fund Uganda and has played a key role within this pilot and being in the field and working directly with children and their families. So thank you so much. And talk about impact. I mean, I'm have been working on the initiative and am just shocked and so impressed every time we hear about the great work that you're doing and looking at it on a granular level. I think we see that, folks in the field, the volunteers, are now able to connect with 6 children a day as opposed to 2 before. And the home visitation forum used to take 45 minutes, and now it's half, right, to 20 minutes. And so that's almost double the amount of children in half the amount of time, which is incredible.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses.
Thank you too.
Yeah, so we'll take just a brief pause here in hearing from our panelists and turn to a video that the team in Uganda put together to hear a bit more from the volunteers directly in the field who are collecting this data and working with children on a day-to-day basis. So we'll hear from Anne and Grace and James and Partners for Children Worldwide. Thanks so much.
I use this application for family visitation, which takes me a shorter time of about 25 to 30 minutes per family, as opposed to paperwork, which used to take me 1 hour and 20 minutes. It records the exact time I do family visitation, and it enables me to take the photograph of that child I'm visiting as a proof that I truly visited that child, because his or her photograph will appear with some family background in the family visitation report.
This tab now is very interesting to the children. When you take their photos, they are very happy. Even those non-enrolled children admire to be taken photos when they see enrolled children being taken photos. This thing now has removed us a lot of carrying bulky papers because those days when it rains, when you are in the field, it damages the papers.
Fantastic. Just amazing to see how things are playing out on the ground. Thank you so much to the Child Fund team and Partners for Children for Youth for pulling that together and letting us have the opportunity to see, into what's happening in Uganda. So thank you so much. So we've seen a little bit about how it's working on the ground, and I'd love to bring Samuel back in just to tell us a little bit more about, where is the project today? And how do you foresee using technology and other aspects of your work moving forward?
Yeah, thank you, Emily. That was a wonderful video. I would say the project, we can't wait to move faster. The project today now, I should say it's at rollout stage. We want to roll out, we know we just piloted in just one IP or implementing pattern, one of them. And now we want to roll out the remaining 8. So we want to roll out this whole project, for example, visitation, quarterly visitation. So we want to roll out to the rest of the IPs. But also, I'm foreseeing technology taking shape in Uganda now. I don't think there is anyone who wants to go back to paperwork now that we have tested the technology, the digital platforms. So one of the things that in most of our work, even right now, we are collecting data, global M&E data using an app called ComCare. So it helps us to collect about all the indicators that we need, accountability indicators, the program quality indicators. We are all using the app, the digital platform, to collect all this data so that we analyze it quickly, as we had earlier said, for making decisions on time. And also when we want to identify the vulnerable household vulnerability. If you want to know that this house is more vulnerable than this one, or this child is more vulnerable than this one, we are using also Kobo Collect to, we have already designed a form that is already uploaded in Kobo Collect to collect that data quickly. It helps us to quickly analyze which children are struggling, who are destitute, who are growing, and so we can easily get out programming, implementation, interventions that fit each group. And this is taking shape also. And we are talking about file digitalization, where the file that we used to have with all papers, big papers, big file. Now we want to really just put, if you want to access a file of a child, go on the platform and access whatever records that you need. And this is it's where we are moving now, and it's helping us quickly to rolling out stage. So even there is what we call Magic App, which is helping with the correspondences, the donor, the children, they communicate like on a platform direct. And this is increasing children participation. There is motivation. Children want to really draw those things digitally, whatever they want to communicate. And this is what is happening. So I would say also there is social and mass media. We are also trying to go through that to implement like radio talk shows we can implement also our activities, our interventions through social mass media. Briefly, I would say that we are moving. Most all our work now want to be in a digitalization form of M&E system in place. Yeah, I would say, yeah, we can't wait to move further. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. And I think what's really exciting about this is that it ties into Child Fund International's global M&E strategy that is prioritizing technology, right, to help advance the work on a global level, and that maybe in the future we can have more pilots like these around the world as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you, Samuel. That's great. I do just see we have a question in the chat and are doing quite well in terms of time. So I may just ask Martin to come in for a moment just to take a comment and a question from the audience. So what we heard is that someone has shared, this sounds so incredible, like it has really had an impact on your ability to provide responsive and impactful case management. Now that the tool has been in use for a bit of time, have you found any other potential uses for it or ways it might help support other programming areas? And have you adjusted the type of data that you are tracking? Oh, I think you might be muted, Martin. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Putting you on the spot. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this question. It means that we are engaging with the audience. Yeah, I think the response is that, yeah, we see a lot of other ways this kind of system can help, because as we speak right now, Child Fund International is embracing a technology-based M&E system. And whereas that system might look at the bigger indicators, global indicators at that level, our system will be customized to the country office level, which will be localized, but will be feeding into. And who knows, we could have some learnings that could inform further studies, that could inform new projects, because data, information is power. If we can get it on a real-time basis as opposed to having it annually, we could provide evidence to a lot of things, and we can do research, we can inform and actually influence social impact programming. So this is another way this could support. But if I could say something more about our interest in technology, right now we have a lot of technology-led initiatives in the organization, be it procurement, e-finance. Now we have this M&E, electronic M&E. All this will be integrated and they will be speaking to each other. And at the end of the day, we'll have more integration, we'll have more cost effectiveness and efficiency. So, of course, this will influence our programming entirely. We will be more efficient. We shall be a more efficient organization, so to speak, both efficient and effective. And then in terms of whether we have adjusted the type of data we track, indeed, yes. As we've indicated before, the previous situation was that we had long tools, a tool long up to the point of having, I think, 20 pages. So in the idea generation that we talked about with Venture to Impact, we were interrogating ourselves, do we need all these questions? So indeed, we had to prioritize the questions that were overarching, that could really answer the pertinent issues we wanted to know on a real-time basis. That way, we had to prioritize and reduce to the critical questions. Because again, we cannot collect so much, otherwise we'll be overwhelmed. We need the critical pieces we need to move forward. So that is the response I could share on the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin. And I maybe just bring Elvin in for a moment. As we know, this is still in pilot phase. As mentioned, we're looking to roll out to more local implementing partners and gradually across, Uganda and its entirety where you work. Anything in addition to add to that, Elvin, in terms of how this may impact other areas of your work, or how the data might have changed?
I think, like Martin has said, we are excited with the early results that we are seeing. But right from the very start, we agreed, can we first have this tool come on board and help us address those other issues that we had. Then as we go along, then we can keep adjusting and add other data elements that we feel may be very appropriate for us to capture. So from the early results, we are excited and we are looking forward to now expand the pilot to have more local partners come on board. But as we go along and we are appreciating the data that is coming through, then it's at that level that now we will begin considering what other critical areas. In the beginning, we did not want, like Martin has said, we wanted to prioritize on some of the key issues that we wanted to capture. But we also left it open that as the tool works out perfectly, then we can consider expanding and bringing in other data elements that we feel may be also critical in our work.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to following along and seeing how this continues to evolve. Thank you so much, Elvin. So just going to shift gears slightly. I think what we've learned and what we've seen across where we've worked, we being V2I with Child Fund Uganda, but also in the other implementing countries that we work with, that Child Fund is really interested and committed to working with skilled volunteers from the corporate sector to, as we're seeing here today, incorporate cutting edge technology through, whether it be the partnership through V2I or additional individuals that you're working with, and how it really enables transformative change that we're learning about. Now, Martin, just to bring in the, in speaking about corporate partners, we have some folks tuning in from North America and other parts of the world. As we know, International Development 2022 aims to inform, inspire, and involve, whether it be Canadians such as myself, individuals, across the world in international development efforts. And we have this unifying message and theme, go for the goals, which represents a call to action, to whomever may take up, this exciting work that we're learning about to support the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. What messages might you want to share with North Americans and other individuals tuning into this conversation today?
Yeah, thank you, Emily. I think the message I would like to share is that this partnership with Venture 2 Impact has helped us to prove that actually technology has a central place in the social impact programming. And Corona pandemic created the opportune time to actually walk the talk, because it has been a dream that we should go digital, but the timing was always seen in the far future. But with the pandemic, this has moved us to the situation we aspired to be in. So rather than look at Corona in a negative way all the time, for once, I think we see the opportunity that it has moved us to where we should be, that we can leverage on technology to cause international development to happen faster, to happen more efficiently. So I think with this proof that technology can actually enhance lasting social impact, we are here to say that, yeah, our friends, our brothers and sisters in North America and in Canada in particular could partner with agencies like ourselves in the developing world. We provide an opportunity for us to solve social problems together. While we are here providing services, our friends in the North America who are more advanced in the uptake of technology could work together with us to move to achieve the global goals, sustainable development goals. Even us internally, we have the big, hairy, audacious goal of moving from 13.6 million children being reached currently to 100 million.
Wow.
And if we can work together to achieve this, we are actually contributing to the SDGs. So I'm saying that Child Fund International and Child Fund Uganda in particular is a partner of choice in making this happen. Yeah, we are glad to engage more because what we are talking about is at pilot stage. We are looking forward to scaling up. So a lot of work remains to be done, and we think North Americans can be part of this. We invite your participation so we make a contribution to the SDGs together. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Well, you heard them, folks. They're ready for increased partnership, and we will be sharing details related to how you can connect with Child Fund Uganda and Child Fund International and B2I, and the door is open. So thank you so much for those messages and encouragement and the opportunity for continued work, Martin. We're really looking forward to it. So last but not least, and in sort of wrapping up the conversation with the couple minutes that we have left, I'd love to bring Alvin back in just to learn a little bit more about, we're talking about the pilot. Martin has talked about scaling. We've learned about the interest and appetite for further partnership. What might that look like? What is in store next for Child Fund Uganda, and how could individuals in North America tangibly partner with you?
I think right now what we would want to do is to, like Martin has said, is to scale up the use of this app across all our different local partners. But then also we are also looking at the issue of integrating this system with other systems that we have, especially in terms of sponsorship, so that it helps us integrate, since most of our systems deal with children, that the systems are able to communicate and help us ease in our work. But then the other issue that we're also looking at, like Martin has said, as Child Fund Uganda and as Child Fund International, I think issue of technology has become very, very key. Adopting technology to ease in the way we are doing our work. And like Martin has also said, that COVID has actually pushed us to begin considering technology as key to driving development. So the call that we would say is for the different partners across, if there are areas that they feel they could partner with us, partner with Child Fund International, Child Fund Uganda, in this work of community development. I think that would ease in our work and it help us continue impacting our communities.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alvin. So in closing, we'll bring up that slide that will share how to be in touch with Child Fund International, Child Fund Uganda, and B2I. And I just want to extend, I know on behalf of the entire B2I team, our volunteers, our corporate partners, and all those who were involved, a big thank you to Child Fund International, Child Fund Uganda, and Partners for Children Worldwide. It has been an absolute pleasure having the opportunity to work with you all, learn more about the work that you're doing, and learn more about all of you throughout the process. So thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who has joined us today as we explored the opportunity for technology's lasting social impact, and really looking forward, as we heard from speakers here today, that COVID has been, while there has been many challenging things that have happened, there has been also some really great opportunities for new ways of working, new ways of learning, and new ways of partnering. So as you see here, to learn more about International Development Week or Child Fund and B2I, you can visit the links on the screen. I think we may also be dropping some links in the chat. If not, we'll certainly share them out when we share the recording for the event today. So if you have some pals or colleagues that missed the conversation, we will share the recording, and please please share it far and wide, as we really want to, illuminate this great conversation and the great work that Child Fund Uganda is doing. So just want to say happy rest of the International Development Week to all those who are participating. We look forward to connecting again soon, and thank you all so much for your time. We'll just wave you out. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.